Hey guys, happy Halloween. I'm filming this on Halloween. Hopefully I upload it later tonight. I know that I haven't made a video in almost like a year, probably not even that. And I don't have anything to say for myself, but I'm back. And since it's Halloween, I thought I would talk about my first paranormal, no, not my first paranormal experience. I thought I would talk about my last paranormal experience, which happened a few years ago. I think I was like 16. It happened over the summer. And this video is probably going to be super short. Halloween's almost over, spooky season's almost done, so I don't know if you guys would want like a video with like a bunch of other small, short, like paranormal story times. I could do that, or I might add some more in this video. I don't know if it ends up being like super short, but right now I'm just going to start off talking about this one story, which happened at my grandma's house with my boyfriend at the time. And basically we had gone to my grandparents' house. I don't know why, but it was just us two. My grandparents were at work, and yeah, like I said, it was over the summer, and we were just sitting in the living room like on our phones messing around. And my grandparents have a dog named Murphy, so Murphy was there. And I just remember, like, this was a few years ago, so I don't remember all the details, but I remember that it started to feel really weird in there. My grandma's house is really creepy, especially when there aren't a lot of people there, especially in the basement. Me and my mom and my sister used to live in the basement, and a lot of creepy stuff happened down there. I really don't like being down there, especially by myself, but even upstairs, like, it's just a weird feeling. And a lot of my friends have said the same thing, like, even just being upstairs, like, it's just a weird, like, I don't know, it's a weird feeling. But like, on that day, at that time, it started feeling especially weird, and we didn't know why. And the dog started acting crazy, and it was so, like, the feeling was so intense that we both acknowledged it. And we hadn't talked about like ghosts or anything in the house before, but we were like, do you feel weird? Like, I feel weird. He was like, yeah, like something feels off, like something feels creepy. The dog was like looking in certain spots. He would stop and stare at like nothing and start growling and barking. And so I was like, yeah, like animals can see that type of stuff. So I was like, what is going on? I remember I downloaded one of those apps where it's supposed to tell you if like, it's supposed to say like words that a spirit is trying to communicate. And like I said, because this was a couple of years ago, I really don't remember what all it was saying. I remember that it didn't like my boyfriend at the time. Like, I was asking it questions, and it didn't say it directly, but it said, like, I was like, how do you feel about him or something? And it said like bad, like it didn't like him. So we were sitting, okay, where we were sitting, there was a couch, and right behind the couch were like these big windows that overlooked the backyard. And yeah, so basically this is the couch, and then the windows are like behind us. And at the time I had these huge glasses with like really big frames, like square frames, and I was wearing my glasses. And you know, like, I hope I can explain this to where you guys can understand it, but do you ever, like, people who have glasses, do you ever like zone out and then like you start looking at like the reflection of your glasses, like whatever's behind you reflecting your glasses? If you have big glasses, you might know what I'm talking about. But basically, like, I wasn't paying attention to what was like through the glass. I was looking at the reflection of like what was behind me. And all of a sudden I see this like profile, like this apparition glide behind me. So like it would have been out in the backyard, and it was a girl or a woman. I didn't see her face. She was like turned like this, and her hair was like covering her face. But I saw that she had short brown hair, like it was like this long and it was straight, and like plain. And she was wearing a white like nightgown or something. And I thought I was tripping. I didn't mean to say his name. I looked at my boyfriend at the time and I was like, you're gonna think I'm crazy. He was like, what? I was like, I don't even know if I want to tell you because you're really gonna think I'm crazy. And he was like, what? Just tell me. And I was like, I am pretty sure I just saw someone. You guys, I promise to you, my boyfriend at the time looked at me and he said, was it a girl with short brown hair in a white dress? Before I even said anything to him, before I even explained like the description of what she looked like at all, he said, and these are the exact words that I would have used to describe her. He said, was it a girl with short brown hair in a white dress? I started freaking out. I was like, how, like, what? How do you know? You saw her? And he was like, yeah, I saw her in the house, but I didn't tell you because I didn't want to freak you out. And this is how he was, you guys. He was always extremely calm in like scary situations, just because he knows that I have really bad anxiety, and he never ever ever wanted to like freak me out or anything. So like something crazy could happen and he would never like show it on his face. He would act like everything was normal. I remember one time I was scared because I heard like noises outside my grandma's house at night, and I think we were the only ones there too. And I turned around because I was freaked out and I couldn't find him. And then like a few minutes later, he came from inside and I was freaked out. I was like, why would you leave me in here by myself? And he was like, I went outside. I heard a noise too. So I went outside to go see what it was. I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want to freak you out. Like he was just always like that. He would always just try to be calm because I'm not calm. And he wasn't ever like scared. He didn't get scared easily. But he was like, yeah, I saw her in the house, not outside. He was like, yeah, I saw her in the house, like in this like hallway that was in front of us. And he was like, yeah, I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to scare you. So yeah, that's the end of that story, and that wasn't very long, so I guess I might tell some other stories. That's like the oldest I've been where something like paranormal has happened to me. And the other times that I've had like experiences like that, I was really young, like I was a kid. So when I think about it, I can't for sure say like that it wasn't just my childish imagination. So I would take these stories with a grain of salt because I remember them happening, but like I was a kid, and then again, like kids are more susceptible to that sort of thing, but it also could have been my imagination. But this thing that happened, the story that I just told you, I was 16 or 17 years old. Like I know for a fact that that happened. I know that happened. That was not my imagination. So, let me think of one. Okay, so the first one I can think of is my grandma's dad, my great-grandpa. He passed away when I was like 1 year old, maybe, so I didn't really get to know him. He would always, my mom tells me that he used to always hold me, and that his nickname for me was Sport. So he knew me, but I don't have any memories of him since he died when I was young. But I remember one time when I was little, since me and my mom and my sister used to live in my grandparents' house, the way that like it was set up, we lived in the basement, and the basement was like its own like little house. Like it had a few bedrooms, a living room, a kitchen, bathroom, laundry room, playroom. It was like a little apartment. So the way it was set up was when you walk in, there's like 5 steps to go upstairs to like the main part of the house where my grandparents would live. And then there was like a bunch of steps So there's the steps to go up, and then there's like a bunch of steps to go down to the basement. So I remember when I was little, one time I was walking from the main part. I was walking down so I could turn and then go down the stairs to go to the basement, and I must have like heard or like felt something behind me, because I turned around, and I'm gonna try to explain what I saw to the best of my ability. I saw my great grandpa, my grandma's dad. He was like an, what do you call it, like, he was like an auctioneer, like when you talk really fast, like those people who talked really fast back in the day and would be like sold. And he would dress in like suits. My mom's adopted, so my grandma, my grandparents, and like her dad, they're all white. And so, and he would like wear these fancy suits. He had black hair. So when I turned around, I saw like a profile. Again, it was a profile of a man with black hair, a white man with black hair in a suit. I don't know why, something in my head told me that it was him. And like, I still believe to this day, like if that wasn't my imagination, like I'm 100% sure that that was him. But he was, yeah, it was his profile, and like his legs were blurry, like they were kicked up behind him. So like he's standing and his legs were like kicked up behind him, like, but like blurry, as if like he's running really fast and like his legs are kicking up behind him. But he starts at the end of the wall and starts moving slowly. Like he's moving slowly, but his legs are like blurry and kicked up behind him as if he's running. And it's his profile, and he's moving slowly, and he just disappears into the other side of the wall. And yeah, I mean, I was scared because I don't like stuff like that, but at the same time, I knew it was my great grandpa, so I wasn't really tripping like that. Another time, another little story was his wife, my great grandma. I got to know her a little bit more. She died when I was maybe like 9, and she died in the house, in my grandma's house where I used to live when I was still living there. She probably died actually when I was like 7 or 8. So yeah, she died in the house. And one time, like shortly after she died, I was in the basement, in the bathroom, washing my hands. And all of a sudden I looked next to me, and there was this gray, white, like a floating mass, like this big, like white mist next to me. And something, again, like something in me just told me like that's my great grandma. But it still freaked me out because I don't like stuff like that. I never have. So I ran out of the bathroom, didn't turn the sink off, told my mom. And she was like, yeah, it's probably just grandma checking on you. But yeah, that freaked me out. But I knew it was my great grandma. Okay, and then I just have one more little story. If you know me, you know that I love to read. Like, I have a bookshelf tattoo. I'm an English major. I love to read. I've always loved to read ever since I learned to read when I was little. So when I was in grade school, I was probably like 7 or 8. I honestly don't remember. This girl from my class had let me borrow one of her books, and it was pretty big. It was probably like 400 pages. It was about a mermaid, and like from the second I started reading it, I was hooked. And so I was reading it all day, and by nighttime, like I was almost done, and I had never finished a whole chapter book in one day. So I was pretty determined to get to the end of it. So I was staying up at night, and this was still when me and my family were living in the basement, and we had bunk beds. And so my sister was on the bottom bunk, I was on the top bunk, and we had part of the wall was like glass, and like the other side was the living room, and my mom was still awake, so I was like just pretty much reading from the light that was coming through that glass. And I was almost done. Like I literally only had a few more pages. Like I was almost done. And I heard a voice, and it sounded as though it was like next to me. And it didn't sound it didn't sound like anyone in particular. I think if I had to say, I would have said it sounded more like a female voice than a male voice, but it sounded very like ambiguous. And all of a sudden, when I was reading, I just heard a voice whisper really loud, "Now." And I immediately, like, I was kind of like leaning over the rail of the bunk bed with my book. I immediately dropped the book to the floor. Like, it scared me and I accidentally dropped it. And I was too scared to get out of bed. Like, I really wanted to finish that book, but I heard the voice right next to me say "now." And I was like, what does that mean? It scared me. I dropped the book and I was too scared to go pick it up. So I had to finish the rest of it the next day, but I had a really hard time falling asleep that night because who is whispering now and what does that mean? I remember that happening. Like that happened for sure. The other two ones, I was really young. Like that happened, I'm 90% sure. I don't know who that was. I don't know what that was. I don't know what they were talking about. But I don't think they wanted me to finish reading my book. Yeah, so those are my little paranormal experiences. I don't think this video is going to be very long, which is good because usually my story times are super long. So, I'm going to try to continue to upload and not like just disappear for an entire year again. But I don't know what to do. I just ordered like a bunch of clothes from a few different websites, so I could do a clothing haul if anyone wants that. I could do more story times just on like random stuff. I had a story time from when I was uploading that I like edited halfway. It was about this like guy that he was a customer from where I used to work at, and he asked me to go on a date with him, and he had a bunch of secrets, a lot of secrets. So I could finish editing that story or I could retell it. Just depends on what anybody wants. I could do more makeup videos. Yeah, so I hope you guys like this. Yeah, I hope you guys like this video, and I'll see you around.